You're
Abby, we're talking
absolutely
about
wrong,
property
JJ.
versus.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
See, black girl, Mr. E, I just want you to listen to this NFR and just realize that some people accept personal responsibility. All they want to do is be gay and deflect and be obnoxious. I don't care how you orgasm. If you want to suck a dick or put a dick in a booty hole, you know, or vice versa, that's your choice. I don't care about homosexual behavior. I'm black girl. I'm just trying to make the point that I'm not, you know, homophobic. I am highly annoying person phobic, or a shap phobic, which is super highly annoying person phobic. I do not like highly annoying people. I am willing to listen to this person here on Clown House and live stream him on YouTube. But in the real world, I would not engage with this person and I would run away.
When they're in their car, look it up.
Oh, when they're in their car.
assault,
That's
Yes.
different.
So then you're in your car and you press on the gas and you run them over.
These
That's
people
what you're
want-
saying you can
They
do.
didn't run the.
People-
Well, that's not what
I
Renee
just
Good
did
did.
this.
James, you are a sick individual.
I am. Excuse me. Tell me where you
He's doing that
studied
for
your law.
attention. That's all he wants.
Finish your submission.
In criminal law, just
JJ,
read what a battery is.
And finish it up, man, because we got some other speakers that want to speak. You're getting like triple team right now, or niggas just gonna have to come back to you.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I basically the whole point I'm making is that we got to keep the same energy in terms of excessive force. If you're gonna say that somebody can,
I love that energy, girl. You bring such great energy, girl.
Who's
able to
convicted of
defend
excessive force?
I love that energy, girl.
You.
I hope you bring that energy when we go out on our first date, girl.
No, he was first and foremost. He was attacked. Okay, he was pushed. He was physically violated and assaulted. You have no idea. Clearly, there was an issue with these people, so you have no idea what kind of threats were said to him. First of all, do I feel like he should have used
We
the
actually
knife?
do. We are aware of what was stated because we had 25 fucking witnesses.
25 witnesses that could be biased. Like that doesn't mean we don't know what was said before that. This is just
One
one
of them
day.
happened to
You're
be
judging him just
the
off of
ones on
one
the
day.
defense side happened to be biased. They seem to be advocating for the defense. So if they were the defense's witnesses, you can't say they were biased because the defense put them on the stand.
Right, but what I'm saying, Brad, what I'm saying is you're bringing up the issue of what happened in that moment. What I'm saying is clearly there's a history well before this moment, and there could have been several things that were said to this boy that would make him feel like this encounter, he was fearful enough where he felt like he needed to protect himself. He might have been talking shit because you know how boys do it, guys do it, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't listen anymore. I've had my limitations, my reservoir of listening to that person has reached its limits. Mr. E, welcome to the Carmelo house.
Thank you. Thank you. How you doing?
I've been better.
I hear you.
But I want you to listen to a new song. I apologize, Mr. E. Quickly, go ahead. Say what you want to say.
I was gonna say, I still don't get why people think that because someone pushed you, that constitutes or gives you the right to stab someone just because they push you.
You're 100% right. I mean, imagine being at the library, you're trying to get out, and somebody walks by you and pushes you. Does that give you the right to pull a knife out at the library and, you know, just poke them a little in the heart to defend yourself? No. That's illegal. Illegal. It doesn't matter how gay you sound. If you're a black man posing as a woman and you talk about Austin. Fucking racist Austin all night long. And Carmelo, ooh, that naughty boy all night long. Well, it's a show. You gotta realize you're being.
Could have been white. He could have been Latino. He could have been Asian, whatever. That still does not give him the right to stab someone. Even if the roles were
See, that's what I'm saying. It's a show of ridiculousness, and so that's why it's kind of intoxicating, because it's so ludicrous, it's so outrageous that it is kind of what content is in a way. That room right now is a very good example of what you could call like premium quality content, because it's controversially stupid. It's so controversial, it's stupid. And it's so stupid, it's controversial. It's so stupid, it's entertaining. And nobody's got anything better to do at 11 o'clock on a Thursday night unless you're out with a beautiful woman. What I'm trying to tell you right now, Mr. E, is I'm going to play a song. Yeah, they like race rooms. Nobody, there's nobody reading a book in that room. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's your choice on how you want to spend your life. I want to educate myself. I like music. I'm about to play you a new song I created. I hope you like it. Hello? Hello? That's my Austin Metcalf impersonation after Carmelo stabbed him. He's like, what happened? What? What did you just do to me? You stabbed me in the heart! How could you? All I wanted to do was push you. I didn't want to die. See, that's the thing nobody talks about is Austin Metcalf's strategy for survival. Like, he was not prepared to survive a possible knife attack. Kind of shows you about situational awareness.
And I respond. You don't get to tell me how to respond, because I don't know what you're capable of. I don't even know if you have a weapon on you. So
that's another good example of like Clubhouse ridiculous. We're now talking about how he could be attacked on Clown House with a knife, like that, in a gay voice as a black man. It's pinnacle content.
Simatu vitae. Learn then, oh my son, that all vitamin.
This is a good song. It's dedicated to that funky, psychedelic, bloodthirsty Carmelo Anthony, whose girlfriend called the police on him for stalking and he wanted to drink blood. He got what he was looking for. I give you the Carmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf Band.
The difference of two equalities, or and thou wilt, as the divorce of Nuit and Hadith. So therefore every marriage dissolveth a more material, and createth a less material comforts. And this is our way of love, rising ever from ecstasy to ecstasy, so in all high violence, that is to say, all consciousness is the spiritual orgasm of a passion between two rosa opposite, thus light and heat presents but never manage of hydrogen and oxygen, love from that man and woman, piano ecstasy from neither the ego and the non-ego. But be thou well grounded in this thesis corollary, that one or two such marriages do but destroy for a time the exacerbation of any complex. The neurosis it's such as a work of long habit and deep search in darkness for the germ thereof. But this once accomplished, that particular complex is destroyed or sublimated forever eti immormis. Them is made from song, which at first probably seemed the blood, and the consciousness is modified by the conflicts of marriages between the elements. Heteroity is thus. If the liver be not efficient, we have melanton. If the kidneys coma, if the testes or ovaries, loss of personality itself. Also, and we poison the blood directly with belladonna. We have delirium vehement and furious with hashish, visions fantastic and enormous with emolonium, ecstasy of color and whatnot, with divers germs of disease, disturbances of consciousness, varying with the nature of the germ also, with ether. We gain the power of analyzing the consciousness into its planes, and even of discovery, a hidden will and judgment upon any question. And so for many others, but all these are, in our mystical sense, poisons. That is, we take two things diverse and opposite, binding them together so that they are compelled to unite. And the orgasm of each marriage is an ecstasy, the lower dissolving in the higher. Bodily pure, the Lord bestoweth a solar or lucid sleep, wherein move images of pure light fashioned by the true will. And this is called by the Kabbalists the sleep of Shalom. And of this doth also Porphyry make mention, and Cicero, with many other wise men of old time, compare, O my son, with this doctrine, that which was taught thee in the century of the Gnosis concerning the death of the righteous and learn moreover that these are but particular cases from the universal formula. These are but particular cases of the universal
My son.
It's so fast,
There shall come unto thee
a
second state of physiological being,
in which is a delight.
Those private schools, every fucking kid that was small, not every single one, but there was always some that kept knives around for the simple fact of someone being bigger and having the equalizer. You understand? So when it comes to this situation, when someone puts their hands on you, which parents are to tell their kids not to do, they put their hands on you. That's physical assault. All right? That's what everybody's taught. And if someone pulls out that knife and says, touch me again and see what happens, what the fuck do you think he's talking about? He's not provoking him to fucking come. He's warning him, touch me and see what the fuck happens.
That scenario didn't happen.
If somebody words it a different way, what you're doing is you're playing semantical games.
But they didn't happen.
Little weird games. That's what he did. And
no, he didn't. That's not even the scenario.
Stabbed him, and that's what ended up happening.
No, right. That's not even his own admission.
All right, Joe, you done? Because Malcolm's gonna go.
Yeah, fuck, Beamer. It's only been like 60 seconds. I'm about to be done right here. Just let me fucking finish. You understand? You let fucking people ramble for like 5, 6, 7 minutes, but cry when I fucking go for like 60 or 70 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Are you crying?
I'm about to end right here.
Crying? Are you crying?
Oh, fucking
just focus. Just focus. Go ahead.
Anyways, but so with that being said, I'm wrapping this shit up. So with that being said, all right, right, and of course, with these different laws in different states and all this other stuff, so people have their own interpretation of the law. All right. If we're dealing with medieval times, we're dealing with ancient times. You put your hands on somebody, they're liable to fuck you up with hands or with weapons. So that's what ended up happening. That's how I look at it. And if she was on the other foot, I would feel the same exact way. All right, but of course, when you're having this type of talking points with a bunch of racist faggots, all right, that are on the stage.
So a faggot like you who doesn't even know that.
Of course, they're going to feel some kind of way. But all in all, with that being said, right. All in all, with that being said, is he going to face certain things? Yes. But was he in right to defend himself based off the narrative and based off of this story? Because I do believe it's a psyop. Yes, he's right.
It's a psyop?
It's a psyop!
Big breath.
Really
Malcolm, did you want to? Malcolm is going to go. Malcolm?
Yeah. So it's like, what's his name said? Char or whatever, right? Like I said, it's like, let's say I'm walking, right? And I went inside a restaurant. And the person right there tells me, leave, get out, right? And he's just eating there. He doesn't own the restaurant. If an owner comes and tells me leave, I'll leave. But Austin doesn't even own the field or none of that. He came and he told him leave. Why would he do that? And like he said, he's not escalating the fight. He told him, he's giving him a warning. He told him, bro, I don't want to hurt you. I have a weapon on me. Please leave me alone. I'm scared. What's his name? The guy that died?
Never said.
He had heart. Hold on. He had heart. He wasn't scared. That's what it is. He approached him. He touched him. And then he did what he said he was going to do. But RIP to him. That's what I'm going to say.
Do you guys just like make up shit without actually reading the facts?
Yes, they love to make up shit. Love it.
Like, I mean, none of what the two idiots said is actually anything relatable to the story.
So, I'm going to back up what Raya and Malcolm said. And the reason is because of who approached who first. And it was Austin. We know for a fact that Austin approached Carmelo. Carmelo was minding his business. Austin went up to, scaled the bleachers, went up to, stood over Carmelo. So he was the initiator of whatever was going to happen after that Austin initiated.
That's not
first
what the
contact.
witnesses said. The witnesses said Carmelo was the initiator.
Well, we know that that's not the case because when we watched the video and we listened, it was Austin who moved towards Carmelo and went over to Carmelo. So we don't know, and this is the thing. What I will say is that we don't know exactly what was said in the timeline. It was said what Austin said to Carmelo to have Carmelo respond the way that he responded.
Plenty of testimony about that. There were lots of people around.
Right, a lot of people, a lot of kids.
20. There were 20 of them.
Right, who still went to the same school, right? And you think that all 20 of them heard? You saw those. What was he screaming it? Was he screaming it? Do you think how if you're having a conversation, if me and you are having a conversation, how far away do you think 20 people?
The testimonies were all checked.
They were all huddled under a tent because it was a little rainy.
Right, and
the guy that was sitting next to him testified as much.
What was said? Okay, then what did Austin say? Well, then tell me then. What was who said the first thing? What was the first thing that was said?
They told him to fucking leave.
Who would like to give it a go?
They told him to fucking
Wait,
leave.
Viking seems to know. Viking talks about us. He seems to know.
He told him to leave the tent,
Viking,
not the
hold
field.
on, wait. No, I don't want to hear anybody but Viking. Viking.
They told him to fucking leave. Are you deaf, dumb, or just like fucking obtuse?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Other people were talking.
15 times.
So Austin told Carmelo to leave.
It wasn't just Austin. There were all.
It was literally 20 fucking kids that told him.
Why can't they just call cops?
I'm just talking about Austin. What Austin said to Carmelo.
You don't need to call the cops.
Right? Because everybody didn't interact with Carmelo. Remember, your argument is that it was only between Austin and Carmelo. That only Austin approached Carmelo. There were more people that approached Carmelo than just Austin?
There were people.
They all told him to leave when he came to the tent. And again, that is irrelevant to the proportion of force.
Well, that's interesting because just a few moments ago you were saying that only Austin went over to Carmelo.
Only Austin went over to Carmelo. You're trying to conflate shit and you don't even know the fact.
So there was only one person. So we're just honing in because not everybody went over to Carmelo.
I can't yell at somebody who's seated down under a tent with a team from the other side of a fucking tent.
No, because what we're trying to hone in on is who the actual the activity was with.
No, what you're trying to do is just
Austin
make some stupid fucking case and you sound retarded and ridiculous.
I'm trying to hone in on the actions and the
you're
timeline of the actions.
You're not.
Well,
you're
not going to tell me about because that's literally what I'm doing. I'm saying let's look at the actions.
What you're doing is doing cakewalk.
You're being obnoxious.
Well, hold on. No, I'm not. You're saying shit that isn't remotely true. You haven't read the facts.
I'm asking questions. How am I saying things that are not asking you to tell me and you're not answering? Why aren't you answering?
The easy way is
hold on.
look at the evidence that was introduced in the court, Bima.
I have been fucking answering, you fucking bloated fucking whale. You fucking bullshit.
Relax.
Dude, no matter how much
the
you fucking
evidence
suck
that
up,
was
don't black men want to
introduced
fucking
into
rock shit
when
in
multiple people
No
talk,
one wants to fuck you in the ass. They
all
give
that
it
I
up,
want
Brad.
to do is get to the
Give it a rest. And you lie. You can't fucking make up your own fucking narrative and then try to attribute it. And then you think or another, you sound smart and you don't.
Brad, all right. If anybody is under the belief that I'm trying to sound smart, you could just throw that out. Okay, that's the first thing. What I'm trying to do.
We know you're not.
What I'm trying to do is, it's weird that people try to think. I mean, like I don't know why somebody would go to that. But what I'm trying to hone in on is the actual back and forth and the progression of activity between Austin specifically and Carmelo specifically. So what I'm asking, because everybody's saying that we don't have the information and we're not using, I'm asking the person who's been claiming that we don't.
You don't shut up and you're not listening. Austin's the only one that approached him.
I'm asking questions.
Again, a bunch of people told him
one
to leave.
person, but I'm
Nobody
asking
approached him. Austin
you understand that? I understand
Again,
that.
you didn't even read the reports.
You see, the thing is that he doesn't. When Brad doesn't listen, I understand that there were multiple people talking, but we are trying to hone in on specifically what happened between Austin and Carmelo alone because only Austin and Carmelo were in the altercation. And we know that because Brad has been saying it the entire time, that it was only one person that went to Carmelo and touched Carmelo. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to backtrack to start with a timeline. So we have Carmelo.
You're not even adding anything of
my
value.
God.
Like you'd be better off just like sucking your
the
horse's
reason that I
cock.
can't add value is because
I mean, at this point in time, you're not saying anything.
Yeah,
so
you're
does
trying to
anybody,
be clever,
would anybody
Bima.
else,
You're trying to be clever, and
I'm trying to be clever.
No, that's not true.
I'm trying to find the timeline. I'm asking questions and I'm trying to be clever. Elnormo, do you know the timeline of explicitly what was said? I think
What's
what you
the
guys don't
testimony
like
say?
is that
What's the
right.
evidence say, Bima?
That's what I'm
the
asking.
easiest-
I'm
No,
asking.
and
Abby,
then
did
she
you read
didn't
it?
read it. She doesn't know, and she
Would you
read the court evidence? And
Abby, do
that'll
you know?
answer for
Would you share it with us? I trust you, Abby.
What I would do is I would look at the witness testimonies that were also witnesses that were properly impeached and vetted. So, and look at the cross-examination of those witnesses, read the testimonies. You can't go by what just conjecture is. There's actual evidence that got introduced in the court by eyewitness testimonies that were under oath. Your view of a video without full, understanding all of the specifics with the video, it's probably better evidence to hear the eyewitness testimony. I would rely on that. And that's what you should be looking at, not what you think maybe was said, but in fact, what the witnesses corroborated. That's how I would look at it, Beam.
Corroborated. It's too often. And she doesn't have to do that.
I agree with you.
To form a conclusion that is.
Bima. I think the biggest problem is that you keep pulling at like weak ends of this argument to make this happen. He didn't have the justification to be where he was to make sense of it. Not saying that he has to legally justify himself, but I'm saying all his actions tells a story. You were there under their tent. They asked you to move. You didn't. You were there by yourself. You wasn't with your team or anybody else, right? You had a knife on you that you can't justify to this day why you had it there. Like it's just so many fucking flaws in this premise that it's hard to entertain that anything he did was justified or right that day.
That's why you don't approach anybody.
What do you mean? To my Metcalf approaching or him? Because the logic would be that he was in the outnumber. He should have just went to where it was safest. If he's so scared, then you wouldn't go into enemy territory and start talking shit. That's not logical.
He wasn't scared at first. He was trying to avoid the rain.
So why was he there, Malcolm? Make sense of that,
to
sir.
avoid the rain, right? And then what's his name?
No,
came and told him,
bullshit.
hold on. He came and told him leave.
He walked past several tents.
He doesn't have the right to tell him to leave. You can't tell anybody.
No, well, firstly, no, you can't.
He's not the
no,
coach.
You can't tell someone to leave.
He's not the coach.
No.
He's not a cop.
That's
so
irrelevant.
What's his name?
Yeah, it's very irrelevant. You can't tell someone to leave.
He was supposed to call the cops.
Very much so. You can tell anybody to leave any fucking place. They don't have to abide by it, but you can tell them.
Please kick him. That's it. It's a cop's
the,
job.
He can tell him what he want to tell him as well as he can tell me to fuck off.
Plaintiff.
Then he can be scared. He can be scared for himself and try to protect himself.
Well,
you know?
yeah, but
That's
your
why you
actions
don't
have to show you
approach
scared,
anybody.
not you challenging someone.
In this, it's
You're
a
not gonna-
criminal matter. God, you're dumb.
Yeah, but you're not
what's
gonna.
funny?
How are you so scared that you wouldn't challenge someone to a fight?
You would not be saying this shit. That's the
No, I would say the same thing. Absolutely, no, this bullshit. I'm calling spade a spade. This is black and white, bro. This is really just dumb. You don't bring a weapon to school and go into enemy territory and challenge into a fight.
Enemy territory? It's a fucking school.
Yes.
What the fuck? Enemy
Bullshit. You know what I mean,
territory?
man? You're going into another school's tent? Are you
That's
crazy?
why
You don't want to play this
in
bullshit game?
America, hold on, most schools have security, right?
Most
So
of
if
them
anything
lying.
goes
They don't-
wrong,
they be
security
acting
or
like
the cop handles
Oh
it.
God, this is all logic goes out the window to try to justify this shit, man. Come on, you don't do
for the
that.
cops. You're not a cop, first of all. You can't even, you can't do that. You can't tell anybody
Like I
to
said,
from my
none of
school.
this is relevant.
Like if it was your house, if it was your house,
You can tell people what you want to tell them if you want to.
And that's
You
what,
just trust that.
and that's what Carmelo
I could
did.
understand you and tell them to move. You can tell someone to do whatever the fuck you
But
want.
if I'm telling you, bro, don't talk to me. I have something on me, right? And then you still approach me, right? I'm telling you, I'm scared. Please don't touch. Don't talk to me.
But he didn't say
Why do you keep saying that? That didn't happen. Nobody said that. Why do you keep saying that, Malcolm? You never said he was scared.
Well, but to be
Listen,
fair,
this is the biggest bullshit. Real quick, y'all keep making an argument for this boy he didn't even make for his fucking self. Y'all understand the time was over, right? He didn't make this argument at all.
If I pull out a knife or a
Y'all are actually creating a defense for this dude that's never existed.
I don't understand what world
Why can't you
live
win?
in. I don't know what stratosphere you guys feel like you're involved in.
And here's the sad thing about it.
There's not a logical world that we live in where it's okay to go walk up and push somebody and try to bogart somebody out of a spot where they're legally able to be in. You don't do that, and you don't do it by
Jesus Christ.
Kids push each other all the time.
Bullshit, Char. Exactly. Especially Hebrew Israelites, which you're a part of, Char. Y'all want to let people stand y'all fucking tit. Come on, seriously?
Yeah. You know what? You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna get thrown. Well, first and foremost, I don't even.
What can you do about democracy?
I don't
But you know what I'm saying, though.
But if it was listen, pick somebody up and throw them away from the spot because they try to bogart. All right, and we told them 20 times to stop doing that shit. It's not gonna go down like you think it's gonna go down.
Yeah, y'all will fuck them up.
You know what? You know what's funny? I've been called the cops at least 10 times. You know how many times we got arrested? 0. You understand? So don't even bring that up. The point is, he invaded the boy's space, and the boy gave him several warnings, and it is what it is.
You're saying he's going to pay certain last. He committed capital murder. And he could go away for life now.
It's not murder.
That is not murder.
It's manslaughter.
And
you know, it's funny. Because mind you, and it's funny how this country
It's not capital, Norm. It's first degree murder.
So the thing is though, in Torah there's a certain thing called manslaughter. Manslaughter is exactly what he committed based off of Torah law. But when you're dealing with law with scumbag lawyers and whatnot who like to put cases on people and whatnot and try to find loopholes in the law because there's so many different laws in this country, you can't even keep up with it. Like 50 different states with 50 different laws and
don't stab people in the heart
and certain legalities and statutes that you can't even keep up with it. So what he did down there in Texas, if you did that stuff up here, what I'm saying, they're going to look at it from a logical standpoint and be like, look, at the end of the day, it's manslaughter. You might get some time, but we ain't going to put no first degree murder on the dude. It wasn't like he went up and just stabbed the dude, premeditated, what I'm saying, for something that the dude did not. No, he didn't murder without just cause. Right? That's first degree murder. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. You're a damn idiot. You're a devil, and you Abby hate black people.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Angel,
you're defending the bloody murderer, not me.
Are you there?
Yeah. If they killed
any of you guys would like
all the time,
speak on the title.
Yeah. So what's the new information?
His character. That's the new information.
So what are they saying?
It was character evidence, which doesn't come into play unless you take the stand and you open the door to it. It was his girlfriend. The link's up top. The girlfriend, he had stalked and he had violent actions in the past.
According to her. But y'all don't give a fuck about that when it's a Republican.
He just asked a question, what's the new information? So I'm answering his question. Look at the top, and it was information about his character.
He said he was thinking of stabbing somebody and licking the blood off the knife. He said that in a text message to his girlfriend. And the girlfriend went to the principal and said she was afraid for her life and that he was stalking her.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. That definitely changes. That definitely changes a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Just like for an example, if a school shooter was to send a text message to someone saying, "Hey, I'm planning on killing people. I'm planning on shooting up a school," right? That would definitely change the way.
Hey, did anybody read this article?
Hold on, one sec. Right? I'm not saying that I feel like he's guilty or innocent, right? I'm just saying. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, right? That definitely changed it. The fact that he says, "I feel like stabbing somebody," and he's carrying a knife in school and all of that. So.
All right, did anybody read this article? Oh, we just looking at the headlines. Now, it does say those things about Carmelo, but let me go back to it so we can read it together. In exchange for not using that evidence in court, the defense lawyers agreed. Hold on, let me go just refresh. in extent, because this is after they talk about the girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, talking about the knife picture and
It was
whatnot.
a gentleman's agreement.
Yeah,
They're talking
they
about,
agreed
Rob.
not to bring up Austin Metcalf's juvenile criminal history, which included graffiti that included vile racist stuff. All right. So it's like, so when that's what I'm saying is we have to read these things.
Did read it.
But
Well,
to
if
paint it
Austin-
like
if
it was an
Austin had-
agreement.
Well, if Austin has a history of racism, that also changes.
That would change the dynamic.
Exactly. It has to change the way we view this whole situation.
But
and he was
this is
already,
what I'm gonna say on this case.
So does it sound like this? It sounds like you guys are saying it's a stalemate.
I'm playing.
Yeah.
I'm being.
Man,
non-biased.
I've actually decided to take.
One second, Rob. I'm being
Timothy, what do you think?
One second. Let me say this right quick, right? Because I'm being as non-biased as possible and just reviewing the information, based off how I see it, right? If one person made a statement saying, "Hey, I want to kill somebody" or "I want to stab somebody," and the other person is a juvenile delinquent, has a history of racism and violence, right? That definitely changes how we gotta view this situation, because that means Austin Metcalf very well could have been approaching him or approaching the situation through the lenses of a racist, through the lenses of a provocateur, through the lenses of someone who already has issues, internal issues with black people.
And the thing is, in this case,
The testimony doesn't say
who
that.
approached, right?
Testimony is not perfect.
Well,
My
testimony was never.
Hold on,
They
maybe
didn't
Malcolm
bring
is a
character.
problem, but
There's
what's his name
witness
approached him?
testimony on what the interaction was between
No,
them. Read
what
the
I'm saying is their
witnesses
character.
testified.
No, the character statements.
No, but the
not-
character didn't come in. But you
That's
just
what I'm
came in the
saying, so-
room, Rob. So what the character evidence comes in when you open the door to it, and
But I've read this whole
often
article
in
now.
those, and you've seen criminal trials. I'm sure you've gone watched some in court. Very
Because I'm a
often.
black man.
No, everyone. I assume everyone in the room has either watched TV of trials or you've gone and watched a trial. Very often, the defendant won't take the stand. It's about 50% of the time that they do, and you have to be pretty confident that the defendant is going to be able to handle cross-examination. So that's the point. Whether they're making the argument that he didn't take the stand because of the gentleman's agreement. But there's a really good possibility he wouldn't have taken the stand regardless of that agreement.
I mean,
You
I
following
agree.
me on that?
I actually agree with you on that, Addy. For me, from the jump, I chose not to take a side per se. You feel me? I didn't want to use something that happened amongst two kids, two youth, whatever you call them, teenagers, and try to put an adult way of thinking on that, or even my viewpoint of the world and whatnot. I think that the young brother, unfortunately, man, he did that shit, and he got to deal with the consequences.
Yeah, but the consequences, Rob, the consequences.
No, hold on.
All right, well, so
Now, from the jump, I felt like because I know my state, I know plenty of people that have fought murder charges in Texas. I felt like there should have been a good lawyer would have argued this was manslaughter. Like, it's no way that you should have went to trial with this as a murder as a murder trial. But didn't happen. Fortunately,
Why did you call it turn 18? Ain't that funny?
Because there's precedent.
Rob, you're acting like this guy's a little kid, bro. He's 7 years old.
No, there's precedent. So, and I'm not even. There's precedent manslaughter. That's why I thought that it would possibly get a manslaughter charge. And I know that a good lawyer could have argued that. But nonetheless, that's just my opinion. I could be right. I could be wrong. The fact so that they tried him for murder.
He stabbed him in the heart.
I mean, the fact show he did do that.
Yeah.
And he admitted to doing it. And it's like, and that's why I'm like, I think what it is, man, I don't like admitting this shit, man, especially in front of some of y'all. What I think it is, man, is because he doesn't fit the profile of what we would normally see of a young black dude going to prison. Like, And I think a lot of people see that he in a good area. He's, for all intent, I mean, for all information, we got he's a pretty good kid up until this little story coming out, which could be a smear campaign too.
Oh,
In lieu of the judge situation, but that's another convo. But in all intents and purposes, he seemed like a pretty good kid. He comes from a two-family home. He doesn't fit the description of the average young nigga that goes to prison for murder at 17. I know
because
plenty
he
of them.
shouldn't, Rob. That's
So no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that he should be in there for 30 years. I am saying that I think that just me, call me cynical. Hey, if this happened in South Dallas or Oak Cliff, I don't think most people would give a fuck about it. I'm gonna keep it a beam with you.
Right, man. That nigga should have. Regardless of the
I'm gonna keep it a beam with you.
That came out, man. I still think that he should have either ran or caught the fade, man. There's no. I just can't find any reason for a nigga to bring out a knife and stab somebody at a high school track meet, man.
Timothy, surprisingly, I agree with you. No, I just don't think that the 30 years when we have similar cases in our state, you feel me?
That's up to the jury. The jury heard the evidence and deliberated. It's up to them.
Yeah, but see, this is what I can't stand is when we say, well, that's the law and that's the jury, but then we don't seem to hold that same energy when it comes to people that we want to defend, i.e. Trump, i.e. ICE, i.e. Trump, like I just said.
Let's not bring, don't equate, bro.
No, hold on, Rob, because what I'm saying is that I'm pointing out the hypocrisy and the selective outrage that a lot of conservatives do. It's fucking irritating. Now, mind you, in this particular case, and keep it on this case, clearly he stabbed this boy. That is a fact. We got that. But the reason the penalty is supposed to be based on the intentions of the act. And you can't sit here and tell me when you know that this fucking boy who died, which is a tragedy, because he still died untimely. But he was a fucking racist. He was.
So he deserved
There's evidence
to die?
of that. So no, I'm not saying that you do. What I'm saying is that when you are a racist and then you physically assault a boy who is a subject of your irrational fear, because that's what racism is, and subjugation, irrationally, then it is very likely that you're doing that because of your racism and not based on the act of what's going on in the moment. Clearly, he had an agenda. So the Carmelo told him, leave me alone. I got something here. Leave me alone. Don't touch me. You touch me, you're going to find out. And he still went and touched him.
But you do understand that's why he actually didn't get the manslaughter charge. Had it just happened and he not said touch me and find out, he actually would have got the manslaughter charge. It's that particular language
right there. That's correct.
It's that particular language that they were able to hang on that.
Those are
so it's like
words.
This is all I'm saying. Hey, we got plenty of cases that we could go and look for where our young boys have been railroaded. Like plenty of them. Like I got some family members from North Texas. I could talk about some railroaded cases. You feel me? This might not be that situation. Now, do I think the trial was handled appropriately? That's another question. It seems to be some sketchy shit around the actual trial and getting things put together. But the facts of what happened, hey, we cannot, it's too easy for us as adults especially. And I'm talking about those that support Carmelo or those that believe Austin, whatever, that believe Austin had no wrong in this situation. We are adults. We see things from a different lens. And it's not right. And this is what's been done. This is a white boy that got killed by a young black dude. So this is like, this a martyr type situation
and it
on one
be.
side. And it shouldn't be.
Because his life is no more special than any other boy in that school.
But I'm telling you this.
Get life. That's why.
But I'm telling you this though, Jay.
That's too much.
You got to be able to be honest about the world we in. You feel me? Like it's like trying to paint this like the young brother was completely railroaded isn't fair. You feel me? Like just like I can acknowledge that there may be some things about the trial, which is why the judge situation is coming out like it is. It's other specifics.
Now, how you saying he's not railroaded then?
But
you just sat there and said, hey,
there's no evidence of railroad.
Well, the reason why I can't say he's railroaded is because he admitted to doing the shit and we know he did it.
No.
And I'm from this state.
It doesn't matter where you're from. Listen, Rob,
and they in 30 years, to be fair,
it doesn't, Rob,
they could have. They really could have threw 60, 70 at that nigga.
But they
should have. Rob, how long do you think he'll serve?
There's some racist Texas, so.
17 to 23 years.
Hold on, let me get in the conversation.
If he handled his business without no appeal type situation, maybe 15 on the low end. But he definitely doing at least half of that time.
Listen, Rob, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No, hold on. Let me get in the conversation.
The laws work differently in different states. And that's why y'all have a problem with understanding.
Look at Massachusetts right now. What's happening with the lady with the 3 kids?
Let me get
and
into
how
the
against
conversation.
the law is there.
Please let me add to the
conversation. I wish Rob was making some sense.
Hey, yo, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to be nice. I'm talking. So what I'm trying to explain to you is, look, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter, unfortunately, none of that shit matter. At the end of the day, you sit here and we're not talking about what happened, right? I'm going to tell you why we're not talking about what happened. What happened, happened. Cool. At the same time, he deserves a fair trial. You just sit there and said it yourself. Yeah, there's some things about the case that I don't think. No, that's a huge issue. That's life or death for Carmelo. What are you talking about? You can't just throw that under the rug because the fact because what that means is he didn't get railroaded. What are we talking about? Right?
What particularly in the trial do you think was problematic?
Let me finish. And you're not talking to somebody who is just an idiot and myself and unaware of the law. I teach firearms. I teach concealed carry in the state of North Carolina. I'm fully aware of gun laws. The point is, he was railroaded. The point is, you understand what I'm saying? He didn't get 100% completely. Hold on 1 second. He did not get a completely honest and fair trial. And you just said that.
You're wrong about
No,
that.
I will agree that he didn't. It's specifics of the trial. When you hear about the things with the judge, when you hear about the fact that they didn't have a lot of character witnesses, there were no obviously the jury of your peers thing. Although there were non-whites, there were no black juries. You look
they
at
weren't white, they were diverse.
No, I said there were non-whites.
Right.
There were no black jurors.
Right.
That's what I said.
Right.
They had an all-white
there's
jury,
some specifics. There's some specifics of the trial that yes are questionable. Was not questionable.
What's questionable?
Norm, you just heard me say that shit.
I wish I did.
But unfortunately, you didn't catch it.
That means it's not a fair trial.
What I'm saying is, in a fair trial, I'm gonna be honest with you. In a fair trial, that's a manslaughter charge, and he's looking at 10 to 15 years as the mandatory, as the maximum. That's what I think would have been a fair trial.
Rob, what was problematic to you?
But he wouldn't saying is he was going to prison. He was going to prison. He was going to prison one way or another.
I need to be retried, bro. We sitting here acting like that boy wasn't a juvenile delinquent. We acting like he wasn't violent. We acting like he wasn't racist. We acting like this is not the state of Texas where it's racist.
Who you mean, Carmelo?
We acting like it's not. We acting like it's
yeah,
not
Carmelo was racist.
We acting like it's not a white county. We acting like it's not a white county. We acting like it's not
this is a
system.
pro talk.
Systemic racism.
Wasn't Carmelo talking about stabbing a girl and then licking the blood off the knife?
Yeah, that's
Imagine.
Finally, we got one
When this
person to
goes
talk
back
about
to
the
trial
fucking
and then they
article.
submit
One
this as evidence,
person.
how well do you think it's going to turn out?
I mean,
you think it's going to go for 35 to 50 years?
That's the point. I mean, he's
even
then
more
his
fucked up.
character didn't come up. When his character comes up, it's even worse.
Yep.
I mean, that's the
That
point of it.
35 years.
But it's also, I don't see him handling a cross-examination.
Yep.
I mean, I just don't see that. But something that you said, I'm trying to understand. So when you said because the guy's a racist, so if a guy is standing in front of me in a Nazi uniform with a swastika and he and like, can I stab him because he's got so much hate? Like, do I have the right to? Because he's so evil?
Did he assault you? Did he assault you?
If a guy in a Nazi uniform pushes me, do I have the right to then? Do you think that would be legitimate? To take a knife or take a gun and shoot him?
If I pushed you and your husband was there, what do you think would happen?
Wait, so Jay, if you shot me, I have the right to shoot you.
Try that.
Nothing.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, nothing, because
We need one mic, and it's not going to be 3 conversations on stage.
No, we're having a conversation.
That's just slow.
Yeah, Avi and I and Jay were having a conversation.
Yeah, I know. I just had like 3 different conversations in the back. Everybody coming off.
Oh,
mic,
yeah.
man.
Tell everybody else to be quiet.
Yeah, that's just slow. So let's have some decorum, please.
So, yeah, Jay, you realize the knife is a lot more personal than a firearm. So it makes it worse to stab somebody than it is to shoot them. Because it shows like intent and stuff, and it's more personal. It looks bad.
I have a question.
But the reality is, if you and I are standing on the street, Jay, and I call you a dirty faggot, and then you like shove me in the chest, that doesn't give me justification to shoot you. Now, here's the thing. If the 2 brothers were, like most people were claiming initially, that they were on top of him, they were ground and pounding his head in and shit. Like, yeah, I would have probably said, hey, yeah, the kid was justified in stabbing them if they were bashing his fucking head into the ground. But it wasn't. It was a simple fucking shove.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it first degree murder either.
Cease. I got a question, Cease.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It literally does.
No, it doesn't.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Actually, it does.
Yes, it does. Can I ask you a question,
That's why it's in prison, you big dumb fucking idiot. That's why it's in prison.
Can I ask you a question? I have a question for you, my guy. Have you ever been in a fight before?
Sure.
Right? Have you ever been in a situation where somebody bullied you or you were scared of them?
Of course. You know what I didn't do? I didn't stab them in the
No, listen, let me finish.
You can finish, I finished too.
But you putting the cart before the horse, big homie.
I stabbed him in the
I didn't even get to where I was going.
I'm
So
sure you'll get there.
let me finish. You don't know where I'm gonna go. You don't know where I'm gonna go. Listen, you're being defensive, and I'm not even. I might have said something that was in your defense.
Let him finish, Norm.
I might have said something in your defense, but you won't let me
Yeah,
finish.
because you're not listening, Norm.
Let him finish. I don't want to have to move any of y'all, man. You know what I mean? I haven't moved nobody yet, but I'm tired of repeating myself. I ain't gonna cap.
Let him finish.
I appreciate you, my brother. So my thing is this, right? You said you've been in fights, you've been bullied, all these other things, right?
Of course.
When you're in those types of situations, were you scared?
Concerned. I got adrenaline.
Okay, were you scared? You were scared, correct? You agree?
Not correct. I got alive and energized. My spidey sense went off and I got adrenaline.
You got alive and energized, but you weren't scared.
No.
So do you know how it feels to be scared in a situation?
It depends on what situation.
No. I asked you a simple question. Do you know how it feels to be scared?
I'm trying to give you a simple answer.
Okay.
From my life experience.
So in situations of that nature, where you have an individual that you may be scared of, or you're in a situation where you're scared.
I don't remember ever getting scared of anybody, just figuring out what
I didn't even finish what I'm saying.
I don't think boys
You're assuming
get
what I'm
scared.
going to say. You're assuming what I'm going to say.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I don't think boys get scared. I think we deal with the situation.
You don't know what everybody's situation is. Because just people
based on my short time
Never
on
mind,
the planet, my
bro.
experience.
You're right. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll rest my case.
You don't think that a human that is a male has the capacity to get scared, Norm?
Didn't say that.
That's basically what you said. I'm paraphrasing.
Not
Boys don't get
basically.
scared.
Well, don't paraphrase because I'm very careful with my words. I say
Yeah,
what I
but you're parsing them to prove a point that's not a point.
Oh,
Everyone can get scared. No, it's not. Everyone can get scared.
You didn't. I'm saying I didn't. I said guys don't get scared. We deal with
But
what
then
is in.
right, but that's just not true.
No,
And
I think it
also,
is.
scared just because you're okay. I
think
think maybe scared because I'll agree with you.
That
For
is
me,
crazy.
for me, I will give you the. I think what you're trying to say is that guys may not get scared in like the way that maybe a woman would get scared, but you're scared enough to realize that the situation involves a threat to your.
I become alert, and I want to do the thing that's going to save myself. Fight or flight. If I can leave, that's much better.
Yeah,
it's
of
not
course.
necessary to get into a fight. That's
Yeah,
what happens.
But you shouldn't have to.
Yeah, Norman actually.
But that's the smart thing to do.
Norman, I actually trained with the second highest ranked Machado Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu professor in the world. And one of his first questions when I started practicing with him, he asked me the simple question, which most martial arts instructors will ask you. And the correct answer is this. Most people say, he'll say, well, what do you do if somebody comes up and approaches you and they want to fight you? And most people are like, oh, well, you grab them around the waist, or you get it, do this, or you do that, and like they break down the whole analysis of how they're gonna do the fight and shit. And he asked me that same question, and I said, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna verbally try to de-escalate the conversation, the argument, and then I'm gonna try to remove myself from that situation. I said, if there's absolutely no option of doing that, then I'll use what I know.
And how
then
old
I
are you?
use what I know. That's the correct answer. That's what
how old are
Carmelo
you?
should have done.
Of course.
41. Yeah, but I've been in martial arts.
We're talking about a 17-year-old.
Yeah, I know. I've been in martial arts since I was like fucking 5 years old. My dad
We're talking
was
about a
an
17-year-old
Okinawan
kid.
Shotokan fucking sensei, judo instructor. I mean, like fucking
Right, but
sensei.
Rich, but
So like
that's
I literally grew up in a dojo my entire
Right,
life.
exactly. So you're gonna.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get at, JJ. Is this kid was a pen-up? This is a kid with a shut the fuck up, Ray. Go suck a fucking white guy's dick. So JJ, all I'm trying to say is this kid had some frustrated.
They have to pay for that.
This kid, I know he's gay. He lives in Seattle. We all know Ray's on the down low. You hang out in rooms with trainees and gays.
Okay.
No, you. All right.
One
So
and a
I'm gonna
half
address
minutes.
JJ real quick, and if Ray can just chill out for a second. Anytime I talk, Ray's like Dr. Adams. He comes off mic and attacks me. So Jay, all I'm trying to say is this kid's got some frustration, some pent up fucking anger. I mean, you can see with his conversation talk about want to stab somebody and lick the knife. He's probably been punked a couple of times, and he feels that, since he's been punked, he needs to get his lick back at the next person. And he's just a frustrated fucking teenager, and he lashed out and he stabbed somebody in the fucking heart. And that shows intent. That shows malice. That's why it's murder and not fucking killing. And the reality is when he goes back for retrial and they introduce this evidence and they start cross-examining him, he's fucked. He's probably getting 50 to life. So they should have left it alone and gave him his 35 or whatever, and he should have stayed with that. But now he's literally fucked. Unless he gets some fucking
thing to do.
Unless he gets some type of O.J. Simpson fucking judge that comes in and is like sucking Carmelo off and wants to save the little black boy and shit, and they load it up with all black fucking jurors. That's the only way he's getting off. If any of that doesn't happen, he's getting 50.
My guy.
No, because that's the only way he's gonna get off. You're gonna have to load up the entire jury with black people and a black judge who's like some fucking black supremacist and systemic racism, like our fucking current Supreme Court justice, black female. And that's the only way he's getting away with this.
Yo.
Look, man, I hate having conversation with racist people. Now.
Yeah, but Rob, you know, right?
Like, it's not just
no. Just say that I'm right, Rob. Concede.
What you're right about is that.
Do you remember the movie Planet of the Apes?
It might not be a good idea for the real.
Hold on, Ray. Ray, calm down for a second.
That's what you're right about.
Rob, do you remember in Planet of the Apes?
Hey, I'm not gonna let you.
Do you remember when Caesar holds his hand out the chimp?
I'm not gonna engage with you.
And he holds his arm out. And the other ape has to come over and rub his fingertips.
Hey, look, y'all. If y'all look at the PTR,
that's what you need to do, right?
If y'all look at the picture in my PTR,
My album, Validated by the Game, dropped in May. It's a really good album.
We're not talking about
y'all
sports
can
and
look it
video
up.
games.
Y'all can look it up.
We're not turning
I'll
this
put
into
a
a
link in the
black room.
chat. I'll put a link in the
PlayStation
chat.
and NFL and NBA.
And yeah, so that's it. Earlier tonight I went out. It was a lot of bad bitches outside. We watched the Joe versus Donnell Jones versus. It was a good night.
Rob, bro,
yeah.
you want me to disrespect you like the other day you did to me, bro? Like you want to talk about your album, shit being an old man, shit still rapping.
Just letting it know, I'm not engaged in certain things, man. I don't want to have a crash out session.
He's not a has-been. He's a never been.
I just think this case is wrong to be trying to make like
a retrial is going to be terrible.
I don't think a retrial is smart.
No, it's amazing because now he's going to get life in prison.
I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
Like I said, JJ, unless they stack that.
One mic on Black.
Oh God. All right, she said she's conceding her time. So unless they get a black judge and some fucking supremacists and load the fucking jury with black people from the fucking hood.
Wait, Rich.
Unless they're all from the hood,
Rich,
none of them are going to take this up.
Rich, are you comfortable with having an all-white jury in a case where one of the parties involved was a known racist?
There was no all-white jury. There was not.
It was an all-white jury.
Wait.
Where were the black people? Where were the black people?
Jay, you asked.
Hold
on, Norman.
Hold on, man. Why is it this case been out for some months now, and it seems like people don't know the facts of the case? Like, what's going on, guys?
So I'm gonna ask Jay for
not you specifically, JJ, but I'm just saying in general. Like, you're saying it wasn't it was an all-white juror. He's saying it wasn't an all-white juror.
There were no black people.
What's going on, man?
There were no black people in the case. That's a fact.
So Jay, you asked me. Jay, Norman, shut the fuck up. He asked me a question.
Rick, he wasn't just talking to you.
No, I'm not gay. I'm not a fucking liberal like you.
What, you gay?
I'm not from New York either. So,
bro, y'all take that flirting shit to the DMs. We not doing that on the stage. Go flirt in the DMs.
Go in the audience, Norman.
Go to the DMs.
Leave me lose my train of thought. You bait the fuck out of me.
Gay? El Norma, are you gay?
He is gay.
Oh,
Why
Lord.
are you gay?
He's gay as Uma is a ladyboy.
Why are you gay?
I am a mother.
Uma, how do you feel about the title? What do you think about the new news that came out? If you've been paying attention to it, man, give us your opinion.
Why is Death not on
Uma, not Bow, but you can go after.
Okay. I just want to know why Death is not on here.
Let Uma speak.
I want to hear from Uma.
I didn't know that El Norma was gay. I'm shocked and let me get in myself.
She is so annoying.
Hi.
What just happened?
All right, Bow.
Cappuccino?
I'm gonna go to Bow.
Yo, him at the
we're gonna come back to Uma.
Let
the gay people speak.
I need to ask you something real quick. So, yeah, I'm gonna ask you something. So why is not like death on this chart? Like, why is there a life sentence? Like, it should be death on here.
You think
because it doesn't meet the death penalty qualifications, man. It's very hard to actually get a death penalty conviction in Texas.
Okay, well, like, can we just put it up for a hypothetical? That's
nowhere remotely near a death penalty situation.
When another person stabs another person and then kills them.
Only one.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was no.
But he's 17 and he's ineligible for the death penalty. That was my understanding.
It doesn't matter. See what they did to like young kids at the age of 13.
It would have to be a capital crime. It would have to be a capital crime, guys. You guys don't understand.
Okay, just for the hypothetical, can we?
I did say
No, I'm afraid we can't. Sorry.
we can't change it. Yeah.
Can't what? Yes, you can. You have the control. You have the free will to. Then why not?
No, I don't want to.
They have to be 18, and it has to be a capital.
1 month.
Yeah, no, but that's still
they waited
like,
until he was 18 to do all this shit.
Let's be hypothetical because I really like to see him getting like.
I don't care what you want. It doesn't matter what you want. You're not going to get it. Don't talk about it again.
Listen, as a disenfranchised black.
It worries me when I see people advocate for or be excited that Carmelo got 35 or say something like he should be killed or something like that. When you have, if you look up the murder cases in Texas just this year, they are actual heinous crimes of like weeks of premeditation. And we're talking, and the majority, the sentences are insane.
Yeah, they all should have got 35.
I'm 15 years. I mean, for killing, 15 years for intentionally killing multiple people.
But New York gives pedophiles 3 years.
And we have this, but look at the case that's on. I'm surprised you haven't talked about this, unless you did and I didn't hear you, about the case that's happening right now with the woman in Massachusetts and the difference in state law. I mean, the burden is on the state in Massachusetts to show the distinguishing, her ability to distinguish between right and wrong. It's so completely different than Texas law. Have you talked about that at all?
No, I don't even know what case you're talking about.
This is the woman that killed her 3 children.
Oh, the Lindsay Clancy thing?
Yeah, that's on trial now.
Oh, yeah.
But the burden of proof, I mean, you see the difference in the states and how they approach criminal trials, and in Massachusetts, the burden is on the state to show that she could distinguish between right and wrong. Not on her.
Right, and that's what I get, and that's true, especially because the way that they have first, second, third degree murder, and just in Texas it's only murder, and then there's other things. But what is frustrating too is that this just wasn't a clean, it just wasn't clean. There was so much questionable aspects that it's supposed to be beyond a reasonable doubt, right? And you can't, and for one of the things that I hear a lot and often brought up is the statements that Carmelo made, saying that they were provocation. If you try to differentiate between conditional warning statements and provocation, just play some out. Just say, listen, you better leave me alone or I'm going to call the police. That's not going to be provocation. If you touch me, I'm going to defend myself. That's not provocation. If you come here, I'll defend myself. That's not provocation. Take one more step and touch me.
Bima, did you ever watch?
Hold on. Everybody hear me speaking? Sorry. Hold on. And I understand that everybody has their opinions about this, but let me just finish and get this out, okay? The point is that you can't tell, especially with kids, the way that they talk. People say that all the time. I've heard that a million times. Yeah, go ahead, touch me and see what fucking happens. See what fucking happens. I'm gonna defend myself. You think that you're gonna come? You think that you're just gonna hold on. You think that you're just gonna come and you're gonna bully me, right? There's also so much questionability about the mentality and where he's at. If you look at the psychology behind saying that same type of sentence, if you were to call a psychologist to sort of weigh it could just be 50-50. It could be said out of fear. Touch me and see what happens. It could be used as one moment. It could be used as a deterring statement. Psychologists will defend this, okay? And this is my point, is that there was beyond a reason, it was not beyond a reasonable doubt that he absolutely, in his mind, the seconds as he stabbed Austin Metcalf, that he stabbed him because he wanted him to die versus him defending himself.
Hold on, man.
The mental gymnastics.
Hold on. Is today national disrespect Bima Day or something, man? Yeah, I don't like what I've been seeing on this stage, man. How y'all been coming at Beamer, man. It's starting to make me mad for real. You know what I mean? So y'all don't get y'all shit together, man. I'm finna start smoking y'all, man. No cap.
We can't talk truth, bro, Timothy. We can't.
Nah, you can, but all the interrupting shit and calling her out her name, XYZ, man, I can't go for it no more. So I'm finna start smoking y'all, bro. This your last warning.
Well, I think it's just crazy, bro. Like, well, I'm just saying, man, the things that she's talking about, it sounds like mental gymnastics to me. I mean, this thing's been litigated already. The kid's guilty, and now there's even more evidence that, brings up that, he had some bad intentions. I don't even know why we're going through this again. So
we're going through this again because there's a lot more.
Hold on a second, Jay. Hold on. Just give me a second, brother. Come on. I haven't gotten to talk for a while.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to talk for a minute, bro.
That there's a level, a quality of conversation that we're trying to maintain. I don't need any of you to like me. It's okay if you actually hate me. I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with you absolutely hating my guts.
People hate you.
One second. Just hold on. Okay, well, I'm perfectly okay with you hating me. I'm perfectly okay with you disagreeing with me. I'm perfectly okay with you thinking whatever you want to think about me. But one thing is that if we're talking and we're discussing a topic to try to insult, and you're demeaning and you're just dissolving the entire level of the quality of the conversation. Don't worry about who I am or what I believe. Just if I say something that you disagree with, if you have an argument, address the argument and respond. I don't think that anybody, and this is another thing, I know that sometimes we talk to each other and you guys hear people attacking each other, but that's nothing that I really would want, and I don't want. We want civil debate. We want to have conversations. We want people to feel safe to also express their opinions. And when you have people who constantly attack people, insult people, dehumanize, it's a bullying behavior to try to get them to not speak up. And then they feel like they're too afraid to express their ideas, and then we all lose. Okay, so I'm just asking everybody, it's okay to hate me, and I want the disagreement, but please just stay on topic.
I want to back what Beam is saying. Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm just gonna ask Beam, why haven't you voted in the poll? Please vote. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, yeah, definitely vote. We want this not just to be, the safe space. We're not doing that, but what we are doing is everybody gets to express their opinion and let it get it all out. Whatever that shit is, doesn't really matter. Okay. So if they want to just let their submission be what it is, you leave it as what it is. You don't go personal. You don't get all nasty. Just leave. We don't like it. And I agree with Bima. Let's let it go.
I agree with this too. And just know, Bima, for every hater, you guys have a queue. You've got so much more. I think it's just popcorn now. For every hater, you've got so much more people who like and respect you. Especially being, kind of a minority voice in this kind of, conversation. This is the thing. First and foremost, how is this shit justice? Because, Mountain was saying, well, why are we even talking about this? We're talking about this because this guy was, Carmelo was clearly railroaded. This was clearly unjust. You're entitled to a jury of your peers. How the fuck is it your peers when there is a young black guy that's on trial, a high schooler that's on trial, and Beaver, I'm saying I'm going to tell you why. He's on trial in an altercation because before it was a stabbing, it was an altercation with a white guy who had expressed racist rhetoric before. Like, he was a racist. So clearly there is a racial element to this case. And therefore, how on earth is it just a jury of your peers when there is no black person? We know, like, statistically, that people say their implicit bias is real. That's why representation is important, because when you just have, one demographic, and there's already so much, tension, really just in this country and in that state, and in the context of the details of this case, with there being a black boy and a white boy, like, and the white boy was killed. So literally, the white boy was killed, and you're gonna put a majority. Okay, you can say what, there were some couple Latinos. I don't give a fuck, because a lot of times the shout out to my Latinos and stuff, but a lot of y'all be racist too, and everybody will tell you, they will tell you that. Okay, so I'm not. I think it's a complete.
Jay, have you served on a jury? Have you ever been in a pool for a
Yes,
jury?
I have. Yes, I
So
have.
when you went through the pool of the jury, how many people were in the jury pool when you sat your first pool?
I don't remember. It's a long time ago.
Okay, well, average, what do you think is a jury pool when they pull, when you come in the morning and it's your day of jury duty? How many do you think
There were
average
a
come
lot.
in?
There were a lot.
Ballpark, what do you think?
I think it was like 60.
Okay, say 50, 60 people come in the jury
Yeah.
pool, and then
Yeah.
people use their excuses why they don't want to be there. And
Exactly.
then they do the voir dire, right? They start asking the questions. So what do you remember being asked when you're sitting there in that pool of 50 people? Do you remember the questions?
I don't remember. I really don't. This was a long time ago. I don't like.
Okay, but there's basic questions, regardless really what state you're in. They're going to ask often the same questions, and people will have the excuses. Moms have obligations. They try to get out because they have the young babies, or people have work obligations, and people have different excuses. Some have medical excuses, but then they narrow that pool down of the 50, 60 people, and people start getting dismissed. And then they ask if people have a problem being unbiased, and whether they have biases, or if they have relatives that are police officers, or they've been a victim of a crime, and if they could be unbiased in a case. So they weed out, more people leave, right? So that initial pool after the voir dire and all the excuses, gets reduced down. So you think there's a possibility in that scenario, in that case, they also wanted to dismiss people that worked in education because they felt there could be a bias. And there were 3 black jurors that in the pool that, if I recall, and you can find, there's articles about this, that felt that one felt she couldn't be unbiased, or she would have a bias, and I think the other 2 were teachers. Which then it's Texas, where there's a big Hispanic community, and there's an Indian from India. There's a big community from India in that part in Frisco, Texas. So there were several. There were people that were brown that were on the jury. That were
Houston has the largest Indian population.
So just go through, Jay, just go through a morning of being in a jury pool, and what I just broke it down to, and how many people are left to then choose from. And when you go through you then go through those
and
questions.
And you only make up 11.8% of the population.
So does that seem like there was a bias to you, or that's how the jury pool started to weed out?
Houston has a huge Indian population. Houston has a huge black population.
This is Dallas. This was Dallas. This wasn't Houston. It was Dallas, and it wasn't Dallas. It was Frisco.
Highly, are you saying a huge black population or a Nigerian population? Because they have the highest. There's the high.
This was north of Dallas, correct?
No reason.
The second largest population of Nigerians outside of Nigeria.
This county was north of Dallas. It was a county. It's a county north of Dallas, and you
Frisco.
look at the population. But I just went through. Have you sat on a jury? Whoever I'm speaking to,
Shit,
have you gone through jury pool
She has.
and watched this
I
process?
went through trial.
jury 2 times.
Okay,
I
so
went through trial.
so do you remember?
Me
Was it
twice.
50,
She went
60
through
people, Black, when
trial.
you went
was
to the
about
pool
100
in the
people.
morning? How many?
About 100 people.
And were you in a big city or county? Where'd you do it? Were you in a
Santa
big?
Clara County.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then they start going through the people that have exemptions or have the excuses. And what did it whittle down to when you said?
12 people.
Right, but when they went through voir dire, before they even got to the questions about biases or if you're related to a cop or if it's a civil trial, how you feel about insurance companies or if you've had an accident, all those questions. But before they get to that, people that have work excuses or family excuses or medical excuses, so that 100 people, that pool, whittled down by the time they start choosing eligible for a particular trial. Do you remember that happening?
Yes.
So the county where this was in is what the town was, what, Frisco, which is I don't know what the population, but it has a big population from India there and a Hispanic population, as well as whites and as well as blacks. So when they went through that pool, what was left in the pool who knows if it started with 50 people or 100 people, but it whittles down. So again, I'm asking where the bias was.
Well, the thing is, right, but Abby, what you're not taking into account is, well, first of all, before I even mention that part, because they're going to, of course, say something about that, I just wanted to confirm this. The African American
It's been 20 seconds. I'm trying to correct what I'm
doing.
It's not the city of Dallas. It's specifically not the city of Dallas, and it's a county that's north of Dallas. So you have to look at that county because that's where the pool comes from, not the city of Dallas. It's a different jurisdiction. Look at the jurisdiction where the trial. It's Frisco, Texas. Look at the jurisdiction where the trial is and the demographics of that jurisdiction, because that's where the pool comes from, not a neighboring county.
Okay. So
it also depends on the defendant and his attorney, because the last jury I was in, he didn't want any black people.
But they can't say, if they do that, if they specifically say they don't want you because you're black, then in fact there is a bias and that can be appealed. That's different.
Well, they should do that because I think
5 days just sitting.
I think that this should have
5
been.
days, Black?
Yes, I did. And all the black people that got called, they got dismissed. He didn't want it.
What kind of trial was it?
Yeah, but Abby, now you're going to something else about
rape?
something else.
Rape trial.
And what was the defendant, white or black?
Latino.
And
which doesn't have any bearing on this, Abby. Why are you talking so much about?
Because you specifically said that it was biased, and I'm asking you to go through the process.
I'm not just saying.
I'm just trying to be logical with you, JJ.
Right, but you're going into now.
You can find other things wrong with the trial if you want to. If the objections were not, there were actual problems with evidence that was submitted or objections that. But I'm asking you through that jury process to show me.
Right, Abby. What I'm saying is that
if you was convicted of a crime,
I've actually been in many trials. I've been in many trials where there's white people in the trial and the whole jury is black.
Would you think it's biased if you didn't have not a woman?
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, I've been many trials. And I've in the city of Philadelphia where the litigants are all white and the jury is all black, because that's the pool in the city of Philadelphia. That's who you either get. You get postal workers. I mean, think about who shows up for jury duty and who likes to sit on juries and doesn't want to go.
I don't think anything she has to say.
Italian mob? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yes.
Italian mob. I'm not Italian.
I know you're not. I just know that you
I
work
don't-
with.
You ain't
with-
never seen an all-black jury with a winner and a white
So I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that what you're saying right.
This is pretty
You're a
funny, isn't it?
You're a dirt.
I don't even know where I work. Number
Yeah, I
one.
do.
No, you don't.
Miss Friedman.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't.
Oh,
You
yes.
don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. And again, there are trials. It matters where the jurisdiction is, guys. So
I know,
what's Frisco?
but Abby-
So JJ, what's Frisco? What's
Right,
the
Abby, I just
demographic?
looked, Abby, see what you're saying, but you're trying to filibuster to not allow me to say what I'm saying, which is really relevant. I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying it doesn't make logical sense. What I'm saying is that it's undermined by the greater argument, which is that this case involves a clear racial element. Obviously, this is a black boy that kills a white boy. Okay? You just have that as a fact. On top of that, there was a past of an evidence that they knew about Austin saying racist things. Okay? So clearly, this is somebody who could have had
Where did
a
that
bias.
come up? Where did that get objected to in trial? Was it brought up
I don't
in trial?
know. I'm not, Abby. I don't
So,
have
no,
all day
I'm
to sit
curious,
around like
JJ. You're
like
bringing
shut
it
the
up,
fucking
so I'm
trial.
asking you. There was evidence submitted in trial. Was that something that was submitted by the defense and objected to by the prosecution? When was that submitted and
I don't
objected
fucking
to?
know, and it doesn't matter,
Well,
Abby.
but
Because
you're
what I'm
saying
saying
it,
is,
so I'm asking you again.
no,
Someone
right, but
else
you're
might want to
saying-
ask them this. Like
Okay,
you're
you
saying
can-
it. When was that bias? When
Abby,
did that occur? When was that
it
not
doesn't-
allowed
it-
in court, or was it
Abby,
objected
it
to?
doesn't, Abby, it doesn't matter. Well, no, because what I'm saying is that the jury, it doesn't matter because my point is that the jury that this case was won during the jury trial or during the jury selection. Because if you literally have a case with a black boy that kills a white boy in Texas, under Trump's regime, and there was a racial element, like of racism, like there is no way that this could be that this could be argued fairly with 0 black jurors. I don't care that there were 3 teachers there who were dismissed because they were teachers. They should have said, you know what, we can't get a fair trial in this county and moved it to a different jurisdiction. They do that all the time. So why couldn't they do it in this case?
You mean a change of venue?
So,
Or
Abby,
did they
Abby-
request a change of venue? Was that
Abby, to
requested?
answer your question, Abby, to answer your question about the information about the racism, it was not added into evidence because the prosecution and the defense both agreed that they would keep it, they wouldn't submit it about Metcalf saying the N-word, and also that him and some other kids attacked a girl and the girl ended up going to the hospital for something. They said that they wouldn't add that into the evidence because there was conversations from fucking Carmelo Anthony saying how bad he wanted to stab somebody, and he was talking about a girl that he knew, and he said, I want to stab that bitch and then I want to lick the blood off the fucking knife. So they both agreed that, hey, we won't fucking add the part where Carmelo said that he wants to stab somebody and lick the blood off the knife on some girl that he had a fucking beef with. And then the defense or whatever, or prosecution said, okay, then don't add the fucking part about Metcalf saying the N-word. So but this all comes out, and now they're going back for retrial, and that's going to be now evidence of fucking Carmelo saying that he wanted to stab somebody and lick the blood off.
It should be.
Like I said, now, instead of 35 years, JJ, he's going to get 50
not going to get more because if he has black jurors, there, then you know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen when the black jurors agree with me and they say, hey, this is fucking crazy that this kid was saying that he wanted to stab some girl and lick the blood off the knife.
Irrelevant.
And that shows it, and that shows malice. That shows that he wanted to fucking kill somebody and stab somebody and murder them. So then they're going to give him 50 to life.
He could be watching
What's gonna happen?
American. He could be watching American
JJ,
Horror Story.
what are you gonna do when it's some pro-black fucking judge and it's all black jurors and you get your fucking wish and they give 50 to life?
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do
We'll
that.
see. We'll see.
What are you going to do when they
Yeah,
add the
remember
racist-
which state you're in,
when they add
JJ.
the racist remarks and that white boy feeling entitled to go approach this black dude and assault
It doesn't give you the right to stab somebody in the fucking heart.
No, it don't give, but you assaulted me. I get to defend myself.
My point is, JJ, black people here are fairly conservative in Texas, most parts of Texas,
Which is
especially
why-
Frisco, Texas.
Which is why
In Frisco, like if you're talking a specific neighborhood in like Fort Worth or Houston, maybe you could get away with this argument, or San Antonio. But you're in Frisco, you're gonna get fucking West Africans who are black, and you're gonna get African Americans who live in one of the most affluent fucking places in the United States.
They
And
still
they're
would not
going
give
to
him
agree
that much.
that a young
Rich.
black kid saying that he wanted to stab a girl and then lick the blood off the knife is gonna get 50 to life.
Yeah,
They're not.
You guys all said
And you know why they're not?
I don't know why you guys are all
In a racist, conservative, we understand a racist, conservative mind state would think that. But let's think logically. Regardless if he said, I want to stab a girl and lick the blood, did he approach the white boy and assault him? Yes or no?
No, he was in their tent. They asked him
What does that mean?
politely to
He was
fucking leave.
in their tent. What,
Yes, where he wasn't supposed to be.
He was in their tent.
He was in a place he wasn't supposed to be.
Did they have a
They asked him
deed
to
for
leave.
his tent?
He said no.
Did
I
they
ain't
own
leaving.
that area? Did they own that area?
He got up, said, "Touch me and see what happens." They
All
touched
right,
him
so
and
he
shoved
got
him on
up-
the shoulder,
he got
and
up
then he pulled
and
out a
said,
knife and
"Touch
stabbed him in the heart.
He got up and said, touch me. All right, cool. That
Okay.
is correct. So did they touch him?
Okay, let me ask you a question. In this situation, if you're a 17-year-old and you stand up and you say, "Touch me, white boy," and I shove you in the chest.
Yeah,
What's your
that's
Hailey?
assault
Let me ask you a question.
on you.
Let me ask. That's fine. You can go get the police. Metcalf could have been arrested.
I
That's
get
fine.
to defend myself.
Listen, but how would you defend yourself? Would you stab or shoot me, or would you beat the shit out of me?
Whatever I feel did.
No, just answer the honest to God question. You're 17. I shove you on the fucking shoulder and say, "Get out of here."
Answer you want to hear? No.
No, I'm asking you direct
I get
answer.
to protect myself.
Yeah.
However,
No,
I
that's
can
not
protect
true.
myself.
That's not true.
What's gonna happen?
That's not fucking true. You can't, after somebody shoves you, get a fucking machete and chop them up into 1,000 pieces.
No, not get
You
one.
can't.
I can't go get one.
You can't.
But hey, if I got a little
You
pocket
can't pull a
knife on me
motherfucking
and I'm
machete out of your
pressed, and
pocket.
in that heat of the moment,
You can't
that
pull
heat
a
of the
goddamn
moment, I
machete
can
out of your
defend
fucking
myself.
jeans and start
So what
whacking
am I
somebody
supposed
over the
to let you
goddamn
do?
head.
What am I supposed to let you do? Shove me? Then punch me?
No,
Then wail
you
on me?
you go get the police.
Your dumb
Carmelo
ass up.
should have walked the
Shut
fuck
your
away.
dumb ass up.
He should have walked away and got the police.
Hold on,
And
Rich,
said,
Rich,
he wasn't getting ground and pounded.
This is retarded, man.
Rich,
Goddamn dumb
Rich,
niggas. I
so
swear.
after Rich, stop.
Man,
One mic, man.
You fucking crackers always want to be victim. Keep your hands to your fucking self, you bitch ass home.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, so like we don't have to do this.
He dropped as well. He uses the N-word.
No, he was dropped. We don't have to do
you
the
put your
racist
hands
shit.
on
It's
somebody, you're liable to get shot. That's just what's gonna end up.
Exactly, and
Fuck.
it's fucking weird that you're saying
We're
after.
dealing with kids, though, right?
Yeah.
Can I just say something real quick? We're dealing with kids, right? And that's not even happening. But my thing is though, these motherfuckers are playing faggot, homoerotic, fucking semantics. They're acting as if that this shit, like somebody is not liable to defend themselves. You're supposed to walk away if somebody pushes you and shoves you. And mind you, surround you with other fucking people that in an area that you were able to sit in, right? Listen, if you just like you have once again, if you are a fucking woman, right, a grown woman, most of the time, if a man walks up on them, they're gonna pull out that 44 Magnum because that's what a lot of these broads carry in their purses, and they're gonna say, "Back the fuck up before I shoot," right? Now, if we're dealing with kids, a lot of kids who are smaller than other guys, right? A lot of motherfuckers carry knives, all right? No matter what fucking school it is, all right? So, if you understand that, all you need to just understand is that you need to keep your hands to yourself. Only a fucking dumb.
Yeah, we know that. You don't stab
piece of
people in the
shit
chest.
faggot.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Special announcement.
What
Special
don't
announcement.
you
We have a
get?
special guest, James, President James, long time. He has murked a black male before. He has killed a young black male before in self-defense. He's a true self-defense patriot. Go ahead, James. Give your opinion.
Patriot.
Is there any documentation on this? I'm kidding.
No.
Yeah,
But the way
I
I
would
would
like to
say
see
it
the
is that
documentation.
we won't put our hands if you're a full person, but if you're 3/5 the person, we're going to put our hands on you.
Yes, Timothy, there's articles on this. I've read the articles. I've heard the full story. He was out delivering Uber Eats to young black juvenile males.
Can you drop it in the chat or in our group chat, in the chat? I want to read on it.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you.
James, you look like you're about to say Kyle.
So what? He got attacked.
I'm still not over the fact that this fucking
President, go ahead. I want to hear the story. So, President, tell your story, please. I want to hear about it, but I still want to see the actual article. So, Beaver, get that from me as well.
Yeah, Timothy, did you clock that he said if you're 3/5 of a person that he could do that?
I did not catch that, so I would like to.
I caught it.
I would like for him to grab the mic. He's there.
These Neanderthals are talking crazy.
Grab the mic, nigga.
Like Dr. Fauci.
Oh,
Go ahead, racist. Go ahead.
Beaver, your man.
No, I plead the fifth. I'm
Beaver, he's pleading the fifth, man.
I'll tell the story.
Hey, it's funny when it comes to white people, they got every excuse. Come to black folks, they always try to bring up some bullshit.
Tell the story, Beaver. I want to hear it.
Trayvon Martin. He was
in the mean streets of St. Louis, working as an Uber delivery driver. He's waiting outside a restaurant for the food. He's sitting in his car. His AK, I think, is either in the back seat. Yeah, it's in the back seat. Two black guys come to his car. They're at his passenger door leaning in, like, yo, get the fuck out, blah, 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 yelling at him, pointing a gun at him. And then as they walk around the rear of the car to approach him in the driver's seat, he stealthily retrieves his AK in his back, or his AR-15 or whatever it is. And then he murks one of them, and the other one runs off. He may not talk about it, so I probably shouldn't have brought it up, but it is a true story.
I mean, why don't he want to talk about it? It seemed like a badge of honor. Because how you're describing it. President, is that a badge of honor for you, sir?
A badge of honor? I mean, I really like shaking the police hands afterward. I thought that was pretty cool.
Have you lost any sleep over this?
None at all.
Of course not. Why would you lose sleep over killing
what happened again? Your white ass was scared of some black dude that didn't do shit to you, and you had to pull your gun out and shoot him?
No, we held him at gunpoint. He was trying to carjack him.
They were trying to carjack.
Yeah.
Wait, so Hailey, does this? I just heard you.
They were
say, hold on. I gotta call out what I just heard.
We're gonna let President tell the story.
Come on, brother, shut the. Hold on.
They tried to do a team takeover of my car is what it is. You know, the team takeover, they tried to do that to my car.
So in this situation, Hailey, I just heard you say, you know what I mean, honkies, actually, I believe the word you used, should keep their hands to themselves. So you justify Carmelo stabbing that boy because he ain't keeping. So in this situation, he said these black teens were trying to hijack his car.
I don't believe.
So do you feel I would think you would have the same stance as you would with Carmelo.
Now, if anybody, no matter what race, color, tries to rob you, hijack your car, put your life in danger, you should be able to defend yourself.
I appreciate that transparency.
So he was justified in killing the young black teens.
I don't believe.
That's not what we're litigating.
That's what happened.
Hold on, but wait a second.
Tried to kill this honky. If them black dudes put guns on this honky, he has every right to defend himself.
So first of all,
Shout out to Holly.
I just want to remind everybody
Shout out to the president.
when we're litigating whether Carmelo Anthony is guilty of murder or not, we're not saying was this justified. What we're saying, sorry, Hailey, could you mute up?
My bad.
Sorry, baby, thank you. What we're saying is according to the statutes of this particular state, is this, can we prove that this is, murder beyond a reasonable doubt, right? And so there's multiple elements to murder. A murder is weird in Texas. I hate the way that they do it, but there's basically two different theories. There's the intentional and then there's the knowing. So even if you don't have to have, like, the intentional is, I want to kill him with I'm going to hurt him with the objective to, like, kill him or hurt him, right? And then there's the knowingly, which is, I did this act, and this act caused that I did this act. Hold on. No,
Yeah,
it's not.
But the act is
This
a
is-
reckless,
balance
talking
and-
about a reckless
Oh
act,
my
Bima.
God.
Bima, I'm sorry,
This
I'm
is-
trying to help
this
you
is-
with
You
it.
literally described killing and murdering.
Oh, but this is under murder statute, because
I know.
remember we're talking about the statute
Right.
of murder in the state of Texas, okay? So when it has its penal code and it explains what murder is, you have to look at that, okay? So first, penal code 19.02, you have to prove the 5 elements, which is 1, the defendant engaged in the conduct. We know that, true. 2, the person died. True, we know that for fact. 3, the defendant's conduct caused the person to die. We know that for a fact. Now 4, this is where we get into the nitty gritty. This is that they either intentionally caused the death or they knowingly caused the death. And then
Killing and murder.
the fifth is every element has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So when they say intentionally, Texas Penal Code defines intentionally as the conscious objective, that it was that I wanted this person to die. So there's no way that the state is going to be able to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. There's nothing
Yeah,
that
but
happens.
Bima, the first 3
There's
just
nothing that-
described killing.
There
The
is
last 2
nothing-
described murder.
Okay, the first 3, correct.
Yeah, they're just both. They're calling both of them murder. But the thing is, any other person logically would look at this and show the first 3 are saying killing, and the final 2 are showing murder, malice or intent.
Right, but the whole thing is that
Yeah.
we're trying to differentiate between, so there's number 4, the 4th element is what we're deciding right now. Was it did they intentionally cause the death, which there's no way that the state
Pulled out a
can
knife
prove
and
that.
stabbed him in the heart.
Or yes, but
But
you
he didn't
cannot
cut
prove
his
the
hand and
conscious.
he bled out.
But
That's the
you
difference.
cannot hold on. But you cannot prove a conscious objective desire in Carmelo's. There was nothing.
It doesn't
that
have to
would-
be a desire. It has to be an
Hold on.
intent.
No,
When you
that's
stab
that's
somebody in
incorrect.
the chest,
Literal,
that's intent to kill.
Rich,
Which
you
is
don't have
murder.
to argue. Hold on, you don't have to argue with me. Argue with the penal code.
I'm
Texas
not.
Penal Code.
I'm agreeing with the penal code.
6.03 defines intentionality as a conscious objective or desire.
Yeah.
A conscious objective
Stab somebody
to
in the
cause
heart.
death. But the conscious objective to cause death. Okay, that's how
Bima, if
intentionality.
Ray and I are having a fight, I'm trying to show you if Ray and I
You're
are
not.
having
I'm
a
not.
fight.
No. You're
No,
trying
you
to
don't-
show me nothing.
19.2? Is it 1902 is what you're reading?
No, 1902
Texas Penal
was
Code is-
1902 B1 was
Yeah.
the what murder is, right? Just murder.
Okay, so
And
that first degree
what the
murder is
prosecution has to
1902.
prove.
But 1902 is first degree murder.
Right.
Which is
Well, there's no
intentionally or
first degree,
knowingly,
there's no first degree murder. It's just
intends to cause serious bodily injury and commits an act dangerous to human life. That's
Right.
first degree. The manslaughter,
there is no first or second degree, Abby. It's just
they're
murder.
calling it first, but under 1902. 1904 is is causing a death recklessly. So that's like if you use your automobile or you have a situation that's a reckless situation. that you were aware of the substantial or unjustifiable risk, but you consciously disregarded it. That's different than the act that's dangerous to human life in first degree, or what they're calling 1902. So are we reading the same penal code?
That's correct. There is no first or second or
Well,
third.
no,
There is no degree in Texas.
It's murder versus manslaughter.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
so manslaughter, it's when you cause a death, in most states, it's when you cause a death recklessly. So that would be reckless behavior and doing something that you know could be dangerous to human life.
Yes.
And you have a reckless disregard, or a wanton is another legal term that's used often, wanton disregard.
Yes.
But that's different than the definition of murder, which fit this set of facts, which was the intent to cause serious bodily harm, which is what Rich just said. He didn't stab him in the hand, he stabbed him in the heart. He didn't stab him in the leg or the arm, it was in the heart, which is the intent when you stab in the heart to cause serious bodily harm.
So that's where we
the
disagree.
argument.
Right.
Well,
So that's
I mean,
where we
whether you and I agree or not, that's what the jury was charged with. The different types
Back to reality, man.
deaths of murder
This ain't the
murder
fucking
or
courtroom, bitch. This is
manslaughter.
a free
And the
conference
jury
call
took
for
the facts and
retard.
determined that it fit the elements of 1902.
Yeah, and that's what I would that's what I'm really pushing back. So for murder, in order to be charged with murder, not manslaughter, not homicide, nothing else, murder in the state of Texas, you have to prove those 5 elements that I said. And the fourth element is either the intentionality or knowingly. It's either one. You can be charged knowingly. If intentional is, my objective is to cause this person to die. That's murder. But also in the state of Texas, you can also be charged with murder if you say, I didn't want this person to die, but what I did reasonably caused them to die. So that is what they.
Okay, well let me try another legal way with you. The thing speaks for itself. Res ipsa loquitur. Okay, the fact that he took a knife and plunged it into someone's heart, it speaks for itself. That act is, in most logical minds, a knowing act to cause death.
Most people figure.
Knowing, so that's those are. So this is where I'm going to
It's a knowing, and
right.
They determined he had the intent, and he formed the intent.
No,
and that's what the jury came out with the facts. But isn't it the thing speak for itself? If you put a knife and you plunge it into someone's heart, the probability of death is pretty good, right?
So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to have
Res ipsa
intentionality.
loquitur. That's the legal.
But what I'm saying is you don't have to have intentionality and knowingly. You could have either or. They did not prove intentionality with Carmelo Anthony. They charged him with murder under the knowingly, under the definition of knowingly. And what I'm saying is that there's no way they absolutely didn't prove under intentionality. The knowingly now, and this is what's interesting, is I feel that there is enough evidence to cause enough of a gray area to say there is too much here to say that he is defending himself. The way that this stab happened, just the fact that it was one stab, the way that it was out and in, and he went away. Like
it was in the heart. It was in the heart.
It was, but it went from but it wasn't like I'm taking a knife in my hand, I'm going to put it over my head and stab downward into the heart, right? Like that other guy. Well, you could laugh, but there was a guy that did this in 2003, and he was also put away for 35 years. His name was Jason something. You could look up the case. They were at a bar.
What are you trying to say?
My argument
the
is this guy,
projection of the knife gives you doubt?
Oh, absolutely, and that's what they said. It's either defensive or it's an attack. It is, I'm going to stab you because I want you to die, or it is a defensive thing where it was.
But it would be disproportionate force, even if it was a defensive act. It's still disproportionate, and it's knowing that the heart is the organ that creates it being destroyed will cause death.
And
I mean, that's
no,
so
I agree
I'm
with you.
listening what you're saying.
So the fact that it was the heart, and this is the last thing that I'm going to hold on one second, Heidi.
You in the heart when
Heidi,
you
just one more second. So the only other thing is this is why I would really have loved for Carmelo Anthony to testify, is because when this whole thing happened, you have this really tall kid who's really big, and you see that there are multiple people around him. There was somebody to the left of Austin and somebody to the right of Austin. You see that in the video, okay? So when Carmelo is sitting down in a sitting position, I would love for the state to prove, like, how would you prove that he intentionally targeted the heart versus trying to get away from him, because it was a scuffle to get away, and he pulled away, he pulled to the right, he pulled out the same way that the knife had gone in. The knife was going in the same way he was trying to flee away. So how is it that when you're in a scuffle, right, and this is my point, I just think that there's no way to prove that he targeted it or he didn't target it. But that's what I'm saying. You have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that these were the intentions, and I just don't think that it's there.
I so disagree with you on this.
Right, I think this is the thing, Gamer. I think.
Hold on, D. I'll let you go. I just have to let the room know. I have confirmed the article. President was not capping. He shot somebody that tried to rob his car in Webster Groves. It's 100% factual. He killed a nigga. That's all. One mic on D. Go ahead, man.
All right, thanks, man. All right, so what I was gonna say, so Dima, you're correct though, right? But this is the thing though, like you just read the statute, they could also charge him under knowingly, and that's what they don't need the intent part of it, right? In some states, when you do like an ag assault, right, and somebody died, you could be charged with murder. You don't intend to kill them, all right, but you get into a scuffle, use a deadly weapon, and they died.
Yes, that's what I was arguing, just under the knowingly.
Right. So under the knowingly, you could be charged. So that's what it did in this particular case, right? All right. So many other states they have like degrees, all right, so they could probably like do it by degrees, right? But at the end of the day, right, it still constantly boils down to the same thing.
Hey, man, my bad, D, but I was just thinking about it, man. Hey, President, man, put in an application, man, for the President House, Trump House, the shooter's position. You know what I mean? We could definitely use some snipers. Put in an application, gang. Hit my DMs. Go ahead, D.
So, Justy, did you follow what my argument was? I definitely don't believe that there was under intentional. You can't. There's no way that the state would have any way to prove intentional. But specifically, the second, the knowingly, that's my whole thing. Is you still need the under knowingly. You need the intent to cause serious bodily injury, plus the dangerous act, plus the death. And what I'm arguing is that in that moment, you need to prove to me that he intentionally tried to stab Austin in the heart to going towards versus him trying to get away. And in the way that the knife went into the heart, the area that it was from outside towards in, and it was lateral, you can't, it causes, and what I'm saying, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, is that it causes, there is reasonable doubt now.
There's no reasonable
What about
doubt.
the text messages?
Yeah, I mean, Bieber just brings up, now you have the additional information that'll come up in the next trial that shows that he had the intent and he had formed intent to stab.
But
you're also missing another element, Bima. Do you think that he forfeited his right of stand your ground because he committed a crime by bringing the knife onto the school property. And under Texas law, you forfeit the stand your ground. I mean, the judge cut him a break and still gave the instruction to the jury of self-defense, but there was an argument that he may have forfeited that under Texas law.
No, they called a police officer, legal, to explain that it was against policy, but it was not illegal because of the size of the knife. So it was just for clarity, they called specifically to to testify whether it was legal or not, to ask that question. And law enforcement clarified it was not illegal. It was just against policy.
And I think Gamer is onto something here. I'm just gonna say that, but I think what happened in this first trial, right? I don't think they didn't have enough resources, right? Because the only way you can prove what you're trying to argue, Gamer, they would have to get an expert, right? If they had an expert to actually prove that, maybe that might help Camelo answer that, right? The way the knife went into the body, it wasn't intentional. I mean, that could be an argument to make if they did a new trial, right? But my whole point was they could easily have charged them with the same murder charge, even without any intended under the knowing charge. Because that's done in different states, right? If you back your car into someone, right? If you knock them over and they eat their head on the freaking floor and they die, all right? You didn't intend to kill them, all right? But they died, right? You're going to be charged with murder. It's the same thing, you know? So, but if you have a good attorney, right, they could probably like downgrade that, maybe like an ag manslaughter, then you give him like 20 years instead of life. I think that's the best we could offer for this kid. All right, if he gets a new trial and they can get like experts on the stand to actually prove that, maybe it could be like a downgrade. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so just to clarify, again, right? Because it's something that Abby said there, right, when she asked Beamer, and I think she intentionally misrepresented that. You disqualify self-defense by being the aggressor. And so there's no such thing as any one of us being attacked and then we're defending ourselves. And even by the brother's own admission in an interview, they snatched his book bag. That can be considered robbery and also can be put on the table for self-defense. And this is the reason why we don't want to be judged by no white people there. We are not peers. We don't share the same culture, experience, and ideas, because that is a confirmation slant on how she is describing that there. This man was attacked by multiple people, and however he got away from that attack, that is, I mean, even if they were going to still charge him anyway, it could have been manslaughter. It could have been involuntary manslaughter, but murder is definitely intentional, so they already slanted the jury in that direction. But I'm asking the legal people, though, I mean, or whoever would know it better than I'm articulating.
All right, so this is the problem in what you just said, though, right? So, and I'm also black, right? So I don't know if the book back, like you just said, came up on trial. I mean, I've never heard that they took his book back from him. All right, because if that was the case, right? I mean, that's an argument someone could also always make, right? But that never came out. So I don't know where you got that from, right? So if that was true, I think, if new attorneys, if they do get a new trial, they'll also bring that up, right? And maybe like work it out, maybe get a plea or whatever, right? So this is the thing with all this case, right? I think the first counsel, all right, from what I've heard, right, and what I've listened to, I mean, I don't think they did a good job, right? Even with the agreement that they made, that Camelo would not take the stand, right? That's done in status conference. So when you have a criminal trial, right, attorneys would meet with the judges in chambers, all right, during a conference, right, and they would actually like different agreements, right. This was in this kind of conferences, right, because from what date there was no motion in limine. I don't know how you do a criminal trial and you don't have criminal motion. That's just ridiculous to me. You know what I mean? There's no motion to suppress. There's no motion to indictment. There's nothing like that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I don't know what make you turn up, do all that. I mean, you might lose those things, right? But at least to try.
Great. So Bima, just a couple clarification. You write under the Texas law that knife was not illegal to possess. However, under the Frisco, I think that's what ISD, it was illegal for him to possess that that weapon on those premises. And so also intentionality does not require, like when you talk about premeditated, it doesn't require it being like a day before or thinking about it, what you're gonna do. In the moment, attacking somebody with a deadly weapon with an intent of hurting them, that is intentional.
See, this is another reason for the double. Amber Geiger got 10 years for shooting Both and John in his apartment. 10 years now. And these are the double standards and the hypocrisy of America. Everybody want to try to water the shit down. They had no business approaching Carmelo Anthony. We're not going to let y'all run past that there. And now, these are football players, by the way. Then for the judge in the court not to allow the bullying nature of these boys, even beating their own father ass, and allegedly, and putting him in that sling that he was in. So these type of characteristics of what Carmelo was the threat he's facing. You 225, 250 pounds, and there's two of you. So now you over 400 pounds. He with a $150. No, y'all not gonna spend that.
Corey, man,
hold
on. Let me talk to this.
Didn't weigh that much,
Corey,
and he weighed more.
Well, welcome to the room, Corey, man. Stick around, man. But what I want to say is, man, what's wrong with him running, coming back, and getting his niggas, and then confronting Austin, or just catching that fade, man? Like, what was wrong with those two options right there?
I agree. Run a friendly fade. Why fucking stab somebody? Run a friendly fade.
I think that was those
Well,
are
the
the things
question
that.
was for Corey, but
Oh,
go ahead,
I'm
Big
sorry. No, I apologize. Go ahead.
That's in the heat of the moment, that's what they tell us. Police have a split-second decision, and then they unalive people. But in the heat of the moment, he's already approached. He's already surrounded. He's already outmanned and outgunned. No pun intended.
Where was
there, right?
he surrounded, Corey? There's only one guy there.
And he was asked 15
I
times.
said Corey, man. Y'all are not Corey. If y'all want me to start addressing y'all like niggas, I want to hear from Corey, please.
Yeah. Now, what was the motivation for? Now, if y'all know each other, y'all go to the same school. Yeah, you go into the bathroom or you go into the locker room. Yes. Then, if y'all got a legitimate reason, then you go ahead. But now, according to the narrative that we was given, this is over. Remind me of some Rosa Parks type shit there. Get up out the seat, nigga. And hey, that ain't our spirit. So I don't think that they gave that out. It was not just no one person. Remember, the brother there, and there was a friend. If y'all saw the video, it was blurry, whatever. But it was still at least three of them that came and approached him there. So, hey, that also would apply to, hey, they ain't no one-on-one catch the fade. No, they ain't come like that. They was gonna jump him. But
he was gonna jump him.
If that opportunity would have been there, y'all go in the bathroom, win, lose, or draw, leave it there, man to man. That's okay, but that wasn't an option.
Thank you, Corey. One mic on, Beamer.
Oh no, I appreciate it and I apologize. I didn't mean to jump in there, Corey. The one thing that I wanted to say was I hope that this is clear. I don't want anybody to think that I'm advocating for anything. I'm advocating that a stab is the way to handle something like this. Yeah, I could definitely say Carmelo Anthony is guilty of a lot of things. Definitely no emotional management, low emotional maturity, basically no conflict mitigation or resolution skills, none whatsoever. There's there's an infinite number of ways that he could have handled that. But when we're litigating something like this, we're not saying all of the adjacent possibles of what he possibly could have done, right? That's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is in the moment when it did happen with this very specific person who
Long, oh my son, hath been this digression from the play. Song hath been this digression from the plain. Consider the bond of a call. Consider the bond. Consider the bond of a cold climate. Of a cold climate, how it maketh man a slave. He must have shelter and food with fierce toil.
Yet thereby he becomes strong against the elements, and his moral force waxeth, so that he is master of such men as live in lands of sun, where bodily needs are satisfied without struggle. Consider also him that willeth to excel in speed or in battle, how he denieth himself the food he craveth, and all pleasures natural to him, putting himself under the harsh order of trainer. So by this bondage he hath, at the last, his will. Now then the one by natural, and the other by voluntary, restriction have come each to greater liberty. This is also a general law of biology, for all development is structuralization, that is, a limitation and specialization of an originally indeterminate protoplasm, which latter may therefore be called free in the definition of a pedant. Shall be respected of all, seeing that it is the right of the bodily will. For this same reason thou shalt cause full restriction and punishment of any who may seek to limit that freedom for the sake of his own profit or desire or ideal. Every man and every woman hath full right either to grant or to deny the body, as the will speaketh within. This being made custom, the evils of love, which are many, extending to the disturbance not only of body but of mind, and that in obscure paths shall little by little disappear from the face of his unspeakable glory.
Understand, first that the preservers of the peace of mankind do so by reason of their ignorance of their own true wills. Therefore, as this wisdom of mine increaseth among mankind, the false will to crime must become constantly more rare. Also, the exercise of our freedom will cause men to be born less and ever less, affliction from the disease of spirit which breedeth these false wills. But in the while of waiting for this perfection, thou must by law assure to every man a means of satisfying his bodily and his mental needs, leaving him free to develop any superstructure in accordance with his will, and protecting him from any who seek to deprive him of these vertebral rights. There shall be, therefore, a standard of satisfaction, though it must vary in detail with race, climate, and other such conditions. And this standard shall be based upon a large interpretation of facts biological, physiological, and then
Hello? I'm in a building right now talking on a conference call app to retards. Hello? Yeah, you can say retard on YouTube.
do not think then that by non-action thou dost follow for thy nature is action, and by hindering the discharge of thy potential thou dost perpetuate and aggravate the stress. If thou ease not nature, she will bring thee to dis-ease free. Therefore every function of thy body and of every other part of thee according to its true will. This also is most necessary, that thou discover that true will in every case. For thou art born into dis-ease, where are many false and perverted wills, monstrous growths, parasites, vermin are they, adherent to thee by vice of her mating, out of infirmity or of evil training, and all these things the subtlest and most terrible, enemies without pity, destructive to thy will, and a menace and tyranny even to thyself, of the ideals and standards of the slave gods. False religion, false ethics, even false science. History, lies, behold the face of your God, the beginning and the first, whose eyes are the brightness of the heavens, which provided you for the government of the earth, and her unspeakable being. And again, let there be no creature upon her or within her the same. All her members let them differ in their qualities, and let there be no creature equal with another. Here also is the voice of true science, crying aloud, delineation is the key of evolution. To art cometh the third, perceiving beauty in the harmony of the diverse. Know then, O my son, that all laws, all systems, all customs, all ideals and standards which tend to produce uniformity, being in direct opposition to nature's will to change and to develop through variety, are accursed. Do thou with all thy might of manhood strive against these forces, for they resist change, which is life, and thus they are of death.
consider the bond of a cold climate, how it maketh man a slave. He must have shelter and food with fierce toil. Yet thereby he becomes strong against the elements, and his moral force waxeth, so that he is master of such men as live in lands of sun, where bodily needs are satisfied without struggle. Consider also him that willeth to excel in speed or in battle, how he denieth himself the food he craveth, and all pleasures natural to him, putting himself under the harsh order of a trainer, so by this bondage he hath at the last his will. Now then, the one by natural, and the other by voluntary, restriction hath come each to greater liberty. This is also a general law of biology, for all development is structuralization, that is, a limitation and specialization of an originally indeterminate protoplasm, which latter may therefore be called free in the definition of a pedant.
There shall be no property in human flesh. Every man and every woman hath right.
Indefeasible to give the body for the enjoyment of any other. The exercise of that right shall not be punished either by law or by custom. There shall be no penalty either by loss or curtailment of liberty, of rights, of wealth, or of social esteem. But this freedom shall be respected of all, seeing that it is the right of the bodily will. For the same reason thou shalt cause full restriction and punishment of any who may seek to limit that freedom for the sake of his own profit or desire or ideal. Every man and every woman hath full right either to grant or to deny the body, as the will speaketh within. This being made custom, the evils of love which are many, extending to the disturbance not only of body but of mind, and that in obscure paths shall little by little disappear from the face of his unspeakable glory. So that of the child of mine all woes, how shall I write to thee concerning children? For herein is the Gordian knot in our whole room of wisdom, and it may not be severed by sword. Lord, thou art a greater now Alexander the true horde, and it is a balance like that of a egg, and the violence of a Columbus will but crack the tender shell which we must first of all preserve. Now sentinel to this fortress standeth a certain paradox of general application, and it is the large order I will declare it, so that its particular sense may enlighten thy mind hereafter. And this is the paradox, that there are bonds which led to slavery, and bonds which led to freedom. All we are bound in many fetters by acquirers, and it is for ourselves in great part to determine whether they shall enslave us or emancipate us. And I will make clear this thesis to thee by the way of illustration. kindle thee to effort in thy way.
To a few seconds of intent and the thought process. That's what this entire case is hinging on. And I'm saying that in those couple seconds, in those 2 or 3 seconds of human perception and intent, there's no way.
Yet it is the way of thy will. And I say not even that thou dost well to haste therein, for the whole matter lieth in thy will. And to force thyself against thy nature would be an obstacle to thy passage. But if I urge thee to run, well, this race as an athlete, it is because I have perceived in thy nature that fierce lust and mighty concentration in that will. And I write this letter unto thee, knowing well that thou wilt rejoice exceedingly therein, since it's an expression of thy own will.
Understand the truth that the disturbers of the peace of mankind do so by reason of their ignorance of their own true wills. Therefore, as this wisdom of mine increaseth among mankind, the false will to crime must become constantly more rare. Also, the exercise of our freedom will cause men to be born with less and ever less affliction from that dis-ease of spirit which breedeth these false wills. But in the while of waiting for this perfection, thou must by law assure to every man a means of satisfying his bodily and his mental needs, leaving him free to develop any superstructure in accordance with his will, and protecting him from any that may seek to deprive him of these vertebral rights. There shall be therefore a standard of satisfaction, though it must vary in detail with race, climate, and other such conditions. And this standard shall be based upon a large interpretation of facts biological, physiological, and the like. Do not think then that by non-action thou dost follow the way of the Tao, for thy nature is action, and by hindering a discharge of thy potential thou dost perpetuate and aggravate the stress. If thou ease not nature, she will bring thee to dis-ease. Free. Therefore, every function of thy body and of every other part of thee, according to its true will. This also is most necessary, that thou discover that true will in every case, for thou art born into dis-ease. Where are many false and perverted wills, monstrous grooves, parasites, vermin are they, adherent to thee by vice of heredity, or of environment, or of evil training. And of all these things the subtlest and most terrible, enemies without pity, destructive to thy will, and a menace and tyranny even to thyself, are the ideals and standards of the slave gods. False religion, false ethics, even false science.
Consider my son that worked in the farm, or he of the 30th verse. Behold the face of your God, the beginning of of true science, crying aloud. The nation is the key of evolution.
The rune to art cometh the third, perceiving beauty in the harmony of the diverse. Know then, O my son, that all laws, all systems, all customs, all ideals and standards which tend to produce uniformity, being in direct opposition to nations' will to change and to develop through variety, are accursed. Do thou, with all thy might of manhood, strive against these forces, for they resist change, which is life, and thus they are of death. Say not! That such stagnations are unity, even as the last victory of thy free will is unity. For thy will moveth through free function, according to its particular nature, to that end of dissolution of all complexities. And the ideals and standards are attempts to hold thee on that way. Although for thee some certain alien be upon thy path, yet for thy neighbor it may not be so set all men are horseback. Thou speedest the foot soldier upon his way indeed. But what hast thou done to the bird man? Thou must have simple laws and customs to express the general will, and so prevent the tyranny or violence of a few, but multiply them not!
Now then, herewith I will declare unto thee the limits of the civil law upon the rock of the Lord, the Redeemer.
Consider the bond of a cold climate, how it maketh man a slave. He must have shelter and food with fierce toil, yet thereby he becomes strong against the elements, and his moral force waxeth, so that he is master of such men as live in lands of sun, where bodily needs are satisfied without struggle. Consider also him that willeth to excel in speed or in battle, how he denieth himself the food he craveth, and all pleasures natural to him, putting himself under the harsh order of a trainer. So by this bondage he hath, at the last, his will.
Now then, the one by natural and the other by voluntary restriction have come each to greater liberty. This is also general law of biology. For all development is structuralization.
That is, a limitation and specialization of an originally indeterminate protoplasm, which latter may therefore be called free in the definition of a pedant.
There shall be no property in Juve and flesh.
fighting.